Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of EVE Online Beginnings with Kaylem. And this here is Raven. She is a older character of mine that has received no training whatsoever. So as you can see here, she starts with just the same amount of skill points as a new player would. Alright, and then she also has no more money, which is 5,000 ISK is what you start with. So she has no more extra money or extra skill points than any new character would. And so she'll be lucky enough to enroll in our 21 Days to Greatness Challenge for fun whoring. And today I will play over the basic tutorials and give you an advanced take on the basic commands. Now today's a big deal for a lot of you who is just starting out as a day one pilots. So the first thing we should do upon logging in is basically start your training queue. To open a training queue, you just have to press Alt X. And once you have the training queue open, you'll see that I have a CPU management array selected up there. So there's a lot of skills that you can pick. I wouldn't choose mining or science as much, but having CPU management and power grid are pretty important. These things would have to be trained to level 5 anyway in the future, so it's really good to just chain them up now. And what they really do is they allow you to fit more onto ships, which we'll talk about in a later video. So once you have everything done, don't forget to hit the apply button. You'll also notice that I have 2 skills put up there to make about 1 day, 3 hours. And the reason for that is you really want to always have about 24 hours of skills queued up. That's the max you can put in is 24 hours. So you pick some of the longer skill sets and just put it in there just so you can max it out and you don't lose out any at a time. Remember that your skills increase over time that you've been playing, not playing but subscriber time. And so it is always important to always have something on tap for training. At this point in time, don't even worry about what you need to train. Just put anything on there. Anything is better than nothing at this point until you get some free skill books from the missions that we are about to complete. So now we're really ready to start playing. Now our plan for the next 21 days is really to show off what EVE has to offer. So we're going to do a couple of days of just tutorials. Then we're going to do a few missions just to get some basic money. After that, we're really going to start to join some corporations. I'm thinking either Red versus Blue or maybe Faction Warfare. But we can always decide later and talk more about the different choices that newbies have to begin with. If you take a quick look around, you'll see that the game pretty much throws you into what we call the captain's quarters, which is not very useful because everything you can do here you can do in the other view, which is called the ship hangar view. Just click on the upper right hand side. Now the ship hangar is actually what most EVE players look at when they are docked up. And this is very important because at this point this is the real you, not the girl. Raven is actually in that pod. So this is basically the most basic unit in the game, which is a pod. This is you. If this dies, you die. If your ship dies, you get you get to be in this pod. So that's what this is. All right, and then so that's the first thing you should do. You get that out of the way. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to your mail. So your mail is over here, right? Or Alt I. Click on this little box right here for the settings, right? And once you click on the settings, go to where it says CSPA charge, put that to 0. Now what this is basically it's supposed to prevent people from, how do you say, basically from spamming you, but nobody really needs to spam you. And so what they do is they charge a little bit of small fee, I think 2,950 ISK. Now I only have 5,000 ISK, so basically if I wanted to talk to you, I would have to pay almost the majority of my money in order to have a conversation with you. So that's not really conducive to a friendly play, so we're going to turn that off. And then after that, that's it. We're just going to go and start on the tutorials. So now your tutorials for you will probably pop up like this. And there's a bunch of stuff to read. It really teaches you a lot on how to open tutorials, how to close channels and whatnot. You know, definitely read that. But since I am not gonna take up all your time and read it for you, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So here on the right hand side you have your station services tabs, right? So here you have the undock. Again, never enter the captain's quarters again. The undock, you have a picture of whatever faction, that station that you're in, and then you have all these services. Not going to go over the services. All you got to do is mouse over them, and then you'll see exactly what each of these mean. As you play, you're going to memorize these so that you're not even going to think about it when you click, okay? Do not let this discourage you. Just run it over once real fast just to see what they do. And then, don't think too much about it. As you play the game, you will get more familiar with these icons and what these things do, okay? So the only thing I would say now is that sometimes not all of the stations have all of the services, so sometimes you might, popular are these two. This is the repair shop, and this is the clone bay. So not all stations have a repair shop, not all of them have a clone bay, which are very, very useful. Sometimes you have to shop around for, or basically go from station to station until you find one. And then down here shows three things. One shows the guests. These are the people that are also docked here with me right now. So I am one of 27 people to be inside this station. These are the agents that are in the station. So agents are our NPC quest givers. So these are the people with the big exclamation mark on top of their heads if we were playing World of Warcraft or other similar games. So here they reside inside the station. So in order for me to talk to this specific NPC, I would have to be in this specific location. And the last is in offices for basically, for other guilds or corporations, as we call it here. And so these are people that are stationed here, their corporation at least. Usually that really has nothing to do with us for a long time in this game, so we're just going to focus on the first two tabs, okay? So first, when you double click, you'll get this open conversation with Aura. She is our beginning agent. Now, please read these things. I'm not going to read it for you once again. Basically, this one is a very, very simple task. Right now, we are in a pod ship, so that's not really a ship. So we're going to go and retrieve our ship. Now, the ship we're retrieving is called a rookie ship. And our rookie ship is going to be available anytime you're in a pod and you dock up, you automatically get a rookie ship. There's almost no doubt about it. It's free. It's basically the minimum ship in the game. However, the purpose of them not giving it to you right now is so that you can learn some of the I guess the traveling functions, like how to actually do travel. So what we're going to do now is we're going to see right here. If you bring this down, you'll see our covering the basics tutorial. Click that and you can warp to the location here. This is kind of one way to do it. Another way to do it is just right click anywhere in space. You'll see agent missions, and once again you'll see covering the basics. This is kind of like the old school way, so I'm really used to doing that. I like this because it gets you used to seeing your shortcuts inside of your context menu when you right click. And this is useful not only for running missions, which is where it says agent missions, but when you have your own bookmarks, your private bookmarks, or your corporation bookmarks when you join a corporation, all those things will be available right here. And it only shows the ones that are available to you in this system that you're in. So that's why I am used to doing it this way, and I suggest everybody new who does it that way. However, if you just don't remember, right here, they make it really easy for you. So the first thing you'll see a what we call an acceleration gate. So these gates basically take you to a different place in space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate it. And then it says I can't activate it because I need a ship. Okay, so where's my ship? There it is. Okay. So the first thing I do is I'm going to get into my ship. So this ship is within 2,500 meters of me. So the minimum distance that you need to be is basically 2,500. So this is, doable. So up here we have, how we interact with the, the things that are in space. So we can right click and go to board ship. You see right here, board ship, or we could click on this and then click board ship right here. So once we get into our newbie ship, okay, this is our newbie ship. Isn't it sexy? Alright. So at this point, we can now use the acceleration gate. So if you are lost at any time as to what you have to do, on the left hand side, there's this journal, hotkey Alt J, and you can basically go to agents over here and it tells you what you have to do. So if you ever lost it or whatnot, you can always find out. So right now here we have to fly to location, which we did. We retrieved our ship, which we did, and then we have to carry back an item from the cargo rig. So what we have here is we look around and there it is. That's a cargo rig. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to an overview, This is my overview, by the way. Yours is going to look a little bit different. Well, actually a lot different. And I'm going to do a lesson on this sooner or later and teach you how to kind of edit this so that it kind of fits your way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load your default. So this is the one that you would have. So general, okay? The general one is the one that you start with. So I'm going to basically use that. So what we have here, as you can see, is a cargo rig. It's 6,000 meters away, so like I said, we have to be within 2,500, so we're going to get a little bit closer. Now, once again, you can click anything on this overview. This is how we actually interact with most of the game. So we don't use WASD, we don't move our ships in that way. We could manually move our ships, like if I wanted to go this way, I can double click, and then you wait a little bit, you see my ship start to turn and kind of start going down south. And so this is basically how EVE players move their ships. It's not as reactive as other games that might have you use WASD, but this is still considered manual flying. Otherwise, as futuristic spacefaring civilizations go, we rely on our computers, the overview, to really do most of the work. So here I'm just going to click this to open, and then there's a loot all button over here. Once I click that, it goes into my ship now, and then that's it. That is basically the first mission. So a lot of people have issues with this, and it's only because they're not used to kind of the HUD, the heads-up display that we have here. So after we pick up our goods, you can see that I get a check mark here now, so I'm done with my quest. I have to return the quest. So all you have to do then is basically go back to where you were before. So now I'm going to show you that over here, this box symbol stands for a station, and so you left from a station. That's where Aura is, if you remember. We just got the quest from her or him, and then now we're returning to Aura to kind of hand in our quest. And so this is us warping there, and then we can dock there. Now we can right click, and while you're in warp it shows a different menu, but I'm going to use these. These are Stargate symbols, and they basically take you to the next system and beyond. So if I right click that, you'll see I'm still in warp. Here I can warp there, I can jump through. Same thing here. When I right click this, I can dock, or I can, once again, I can use these buttons here. So it really is up to preference. As you can see, the hotkey for dock is D, so I'm just going to dock it right here. It takes a little bit of time. Alright, and then all we have to do is double click on Aura once again, and we go hand in the quest. Now, because we did the quest, we now got a new skill called Repair System. So I'm gonna go take a look at that. So the hotkey to open your inventory is actually Alt-C to bring up the cargo, or the symbol is right here. See, inventory, that's what it looks like. And when you open your inventory, you now have a few options. You have your ship, right? This is a ship inventory. So in your ship, so think of your ship as a backpack. When you bring a backpack to school or a briefcase to work, you can only carry so much things. And this game is really realistic in this way. So obviously you can't put a machine gun in your briefcase, and it's the same thing here, is that you can only put a few things in this small ship. And here it holds 132 cubic meters. But anyway, so this is what's in my ship. This is what's in my ship hangar. And then lastly, this is what's in my item hangar. So the item hangar is kind of like each item hangar is specific to each station. So think of a station as a house. You go to your house and you drop off a book, as it were, and then you left. You don't take the book with you. You can't just recall the book anywhere you want. You have to go back home to get that book. It's very similar in EVE. If I left the book here and I went to another station, I would not have access to my book. So basically what we can do then, we could put the book in our backpack, right, or briefcase, and then now we could take it with us wherever we want to go. At this point, this is the first skill. Now I got Repair Systems. I know that if you were shield based like Caldari, you might get something else like Shield Operations or something similar like that. It doesn't matter. We have to learn it. So go ahead and you can either drag it in like I did. So just drag it into the skill training queue, which is can be found right here, by the way. This little bar right here underneath your face, that's the skill training queue, or the hotkey is Alt X. So you could just drag it in like that, or you could have right-clicked on the book and click train to level 1 and whatnot. Up to you. Always remember to click apply, because if you don't click apply, it doesn't really count. Okay, so this skill is going to take us 8 minutes to do, so I'm just going to let that go in the background, and we're going to move on to the next quest. So as we get to the next quest, you see here that they want me to basically destroy a fuel depot. Okay, fair enough. And then I'll get a small armor repair in return. I'll accept. Okay, that's it. Just to recap one more time, the ship that you get no weapons, nothing. And so what happens is that if you go along with the tutorials, I did not, and that's why I had to go back, but if you went along with the tutorials, you will get these in your cargo hold. So all you have to do is you drag it. So weapons always go up top. You see the weapon symbol, there's a missile symbols. Shields go over here, and armor stuff go over here. So we have an armor repair thing for us, the civilian armor repairer, so we're just gonna go drop that down here, and then we have some ammo which we will load into this gun. So, and we'll keep the ammo in our cargo hold. There's no reason why we wouldn't. So I'm just gonna undock right now, and then you're gonna right click here. As always, don't get confused when you first leave the station. All the things that you need are always in your right click menu. Alright, so let's talk a little about preferences. I'm sure somewhere along the ways this looks different for you. So what I have here is I have my health readout activated. So this says 100%, 100%, 100%. You might want to have that too. To do that, it's very simple. All you have to do is click this little box right here. I know these things are so hidden, but when you click the spot right here, you see where it says display readouts. You want to click that, and of course sometimes you might also have these, like, you know, if you want to hide those, you can hide them. Don't display empty slots, you know. Don't display passive modules. It's really up to you though. It's you know, but here are the only two modules I can't click, so I just like to see those on my HUD. So as you can see here, we have another acceleration gate. Always use these acceleration gates. Sometimes there'll be kind of NPC enemies around here, and you can't use them until you kill them all. But you know, usually what these do is they kind of warp you to a secret spot in space and whatnot. And I'll do a little bit of explain that in future videos. Alright, so right here we have a fuel depot. We're supposed to destroy it, so we're going to go lock onto it first. The easiest way to lock on a target is just hold the control key and then just click on it, right? Alternatively, to unlock it, you can hold the control shift key and click on it, right? But another way to do it is to actually click on it, and then there's this little crosshair right here that does it. So you can just click that. That's another way to do it. Another way to do it is you can always right click on the actual thing and then click lock target. Okay, now for you guys, immediately upon entering, you might not see the fuel guy. As you can see, it's not on my overview, the fuel depot. So what I did here was I actually, you know, a fuel depot is a large collidable structure, so you can right click that and add it to your overview. I don't really suggest it, because then you might get a lot more things on your overview than you want. In this mission we only get 2, but I'll leave it on for you guys and show you what it is. So we're supposed to destroy it. So I'm going to go and use my weapon right here. So by the way, your weapon's readout is over here. It says that I have to be within 2,000 meters, fall off, and my optimum range is 500 meters. So as you can see, I'm a little far. I'm at 3,000 meters, so I could get a little closer. I could hit this button to approach it, or I could right click, hit approach it, you know, and then as you can see, I'm getting a little bit closer. I'll move this over for you. For you guys, it might be up. You might have your display kind of up here somewhere. You can move it, you know, as you can see what I'm doing. So I just like mine somewhere in the middle. Alright, now that I'm super close at 300 meters, I'm just going to shoot the thing. Alright, and so this thing's going to die really easily, and the point of this mission is really to show you how to use your repairer. So once again, if you're in a shield ship, you're going to have a shield repair unit. If you're in an armor ship like I am, you're going to have an armor repair unit. Alright, this thing's going to blow up, and then it's going to do some artificial damage to me. Don't worry, in the regular game, you actually don't get damage when things blow up next to you. Alright, so as you can see here, I'm damaged. If you're following along with your tutorial, it'll tell you how to heal it, but really all you have to do is kind of click this button right here. So as you can see, at the end of every cycle, this is called a cycle, you see my 69% becomes 73, so it's important to note that these armor repairs, they give me the HP after the cycle finishes. But with the shield ones, they give you HP when it starts. So that's the main difference between the two. Please also note that my shield is slowly regenerating. I guess at this point it's good to note that, you know, when you have no shield, it regenerates faster than if you have like 80% shield, let's say. But basically, I think this mission is done, but there's a acceleration gate here, so let's go and take that bad boy. Remember, always take the acceleration gates. If there is one there, it means the mission is usually not over. And of course, you can always double check. And look, I didn't get my check mark yet, so let's see what else I have to do. So in this next one, I'm going to have to destroy 2 targets. Now, these targets aren't going to hurt you, so take your time to figure out how to lock them up and shoot them. But really, it isn't that difficult. Like I said, you can just hold control, or you can right-click and target them. Now, you'll notice that I can't do anything until I drop out of warp. So, see, I am no longer in warp. So I'm just going to go lock them up, and then I'm going to shoot them. And then I'm shooting them. Now, a lot of you guys, I see a lot of newbies, they tend to have their ship up close and personal. Like, you know, not like that, but... and I guess the whole point is that you kind of want to admire your ship while you're playing and whatnot. But a lot of older EVE players, once you're done, you know, with that, you really, you know, we really like to be expanded this way. Alright, so at this point, you'll note that he's not taking any damage, okay? And that's because of my weapons. I have to be within 2,000 meters of him, so, and he's pretty far from me, so he's kiting me right now. So what I have to do is I have to actually approach him. So you can right click on him and approach, or you could click there and go approach. And as you approach him, you'll see he'll take damage. And what you can also do is you can orbit him. So I can orbit him at 500 meters. Right, as you can see, basically now I'm kicking his ass. Then I believe there's another wave before we go home. Alright, there's another one. Oops, so right here, once again, I could click that lock button, or I could right click here and click lock, target. Again, the whole point of this is not exactly, you know, fun stuff. The reason why CCP puts you through this is so that you kind of get used to, you know, what to do, how to react. I remember when I first started playing EVE, I just stood here and I was just like, how do I target? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I was sitting duck. But as you can see right now, you know, I'm a different player. I remember to orbit. I remember to approach. You know, I know how to do these things now. So I mean, if these things seem simple to you, it's because they are. Really, all it is you're practicing. You know, moving around, shooting targets, locking them up. You know, and now that we're finally finished with our quest, mission. You can see right here we get that check mark. I'm going to go ahead and return to base. Once again, that box symbol is the base, and these are symbols for stargates. Yeah, and so basically, don't be afraid to just repeat these missions. I mean, you don't get to repeat these missions, but don't just, you know, call it off as something silly and something that you don't have to go through. You definitely have to learn this stuff. If you don't get the basics, when we actually go to the real fights, you're not going to know how to react, because those other players are going to basically rape you if you don't know what you're doing. So, alright, we're going to go ahead and dock. And I believe there is 1 or 2 more missions before we're done with the basic tutorials. So I'm just going to go ahead. Here we are. Alright, and then once again, we're going to talk to Aura, because she gave us the mission, so we're going to complete with her. And now I get a small armor repairer. So Alt-C, once again, brings up the inventory, or over here. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but really it's so that you guys remember. When you finish a mission, they always give you your prizes or your rewards in your item hangar at the station, not in your cargo bay. So don't leave without taking your stuff with you. Alright, so now we have here. Now what we can do is we can fit this on our ship. Now the symbol for ship fitting is this little, I don't even know what that is, but I'm presuming it's a ship, and there's another one right here. And the hotkey for it is going to be Alt F. Okay, so we have our ship. We used to have a civilian armor repair. Civilian basic means you don't need to know the skill to use it, but obviously they gave you the skill. As you can see, that 8-minute skill, I already learned it. Where is it now? And once you learn it, it is now here. See? Repair systems. So now the next level is going to cost me 38 minutes of time. So at this point, I'm just going to go do it because my advice to newbies is just have everything at level 2 or level 3 and then just keep going. And here's the reason why. If you actually click on the I button to see the skills, it says right here that for every level that you have of this skill, you get a 5% reduction in the duration. So duration is obviously how fast it repairs the cycles. So for every level, I get 5% less time that it takes to cycle. So the max level for any skill is 5. So if you max this out to level 5, you would have a 25%, which is a significant decrease. You know, so if you would be, I guess, healing your armor or repairing your armor 25% faster than the guy who did not do this. So and since it's so easy, this second level 2 only takes 38 minutes. Level 1 was 8 minutes if you remember. Level 2 takes 38. Level 3 takes 3 hours, right? And then level 4 takes 20 hours, right? And then level 5 takes 4 days. So basically, as you can see, as you go up in level, the same skill will cost you more time to level up. So the reason I say do everything at level 2 is get rid of all the 40 minutes. If it's 40 minutes, just learn it, and you know. And then if it's going to be 3 hours, just learn it. And then when it gets to the 20 hours, you know, level 4, that's when you pick and choose. Oh, which ones should I focus on? This is where you specialize. But when you first start out, you should really try to get all your skills at level 2 and level 3. Alright, so I'm not going to apply those changes right now. Alright, so now that I have, my second small armor repair, so this one required my having the repair system skills, whereas this one doesn't. But as you can see, this one heals 6, this one heals 79, so it's quite a bit of increase, so we're just going to get rid of this. This is kind of trash. I don't think you can sell it. No, you can't sell it. But what we can do, we could trash it. Nothing like space recycling. Okay. So now that I fit my ship. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to accept our next quest. So this next quest has us traveling to a new system. So this is the purpose of this next quest. So just to recap, the first one tells you how to, you know, move around, get to your ship. The second one tells you how to kind of target and shoot at targets. And this one is teaching you how to move from system to system. So we are currently in the system of Durapont, as you can see right here. And so what we're trying to do is we have to travel to the academy, which is in this system. So we're going to right click this, hit set destination. Basically gives our navigation computer the address to where we need to go. So as you can see, this new system, Rainin, I guess, is only 1 jump away. So we're going to make sure we accepted the quest here, and we're just going to go and undock in our ship. Alright, so now that we're undocked, as you can see, because of the fact that we set a destination, your navigation computer has highlighted this Stargate as a yellow symbol, which means come here. And so we're going to go ahead and warp to that location, and we're going to jump through. So now you might say, okay, what is this jumping thing? So what we're doing now is we're traveling between maps. So if we actually hit F10, which brings up the world map. The world map is also right here if you are ever interested in it. We can see this is the map of Eve. It's huge. What we're going to do is I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on where we are. Right now we're in Durapont, like I said before. Here's Durapont. And we are traveling to this new location of Rainin. So this is next door, so we don't really have to go too far. But sometimes we have to travel multiple distances, like we were going to travel here, you know, let's say. And we want to right click set destination. Now it's 11 jumps, and you can see this is the 11 jumps that we will have to take. And so that's really what this mission is trying to teach you, is how to navigate through. Now obviously I don't want to go there, so I'm just going to go cancel. You can just right click anywhere around here and then click on clear all waypoints, and then you're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Rainin. For me, for you, it's going to be whatever is next to your starting area. So in Eve there are multiple starting stages, I guess starting systems. So it depends on where you will randomly select to go. So now once you're into your target destination, you might be like, well, what do I do next? I don't see the academy anywhere. I see the Federation Intelligence Office and the Federation Customs Assembly. Where is this, you know, and then we see a chemotech factory. Where is academy? Well, once again, as with all missions, right click, go to agent missions, right? and then there you have it. That's where the academy is. So whenever you're lost, as long as you're in the right system, so it doesn't matter if it's in the tutorials or in the future missions that you're going to be doing, whenever you're lost, just make sure you're in the right place. Click on your journal, right, and just make sure you're in the right place, you know. So I'm in Rainin, and then if you're lost there, just right click in space, and then you can most likely find where you need to go. Now if you right click and you don't see anything, you might have made a mistake, and that mistake is that you forgot to accept the mission. So you know, I mean, it's quite annoying. I just forgot it in this run too, so this is my second take because of it. So it happens to everybody, myself included. So no shame, just go back and accept the mission. So now you see we are here. At this point, we are looking for the academy. So now I look at my overview, you see right here, Galente Academy is right there. So we're just going to go, it's 10 kilometers away, so they're basically making you travel. And the whole point of them making you travel is that they have left all these ships here. Now I'm going to expand my overview a little bit and show you. So they are basically trying to show you what kind of ships you can possibly you know, I guess cruising around in the future. So they're teaching you to use the Alt button to look at things. So you can look at a bestower, which is a, oops, you have to hold it apparently. A bestower, which is, oh, there it is, my pilot certification. I'm just going to take that in my cargo hold. You can see this is a bestower, so a transport ship. You know, they basically show you a bunch of different ships. This is going to be a Blackbird, which is a electronic attack ship. I don't actually know if it's called electronic attack ship. It could just be back in the day, so called ECM, kind of jams people and whatnot. But alright, so, and feel free to look as often as you like. I'm not going to sit here through it, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back. Alright, so alright, after we're done, we're just going to go back to where we were, which is Durapont. Okay, so we're going to just do that. I'm just going to warp there. Of course, if you don't know where it is, you can always look on the big list. And remember that these symbols are the symbols for Stargates, or you can go back to your journal, double click, and you'll see that you have to drop it off at this station, Durapont. So you're just going to set that destination. And then when you set the destination, you'll once again see the yellow highlights over here. Alright, so for the interest of time, I'm just going to skip over a few of these warp sequences. So I just warp back to Durapont, and now, as you can see, my station is still yellow. I'm just going to warp to the station. Alright, and now we're at the station. So we're just going to go ahead and dock up. Okay, we're just going to complete the mission, and we're just going to get some ISK. And is there any more missions? Yes! Okay. I seem to be lying. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do I guess another practice of going between systems. So now they're showing you that you have to transport these goods. So before we went to a separate station of Renin to pick up something and bring it back. Now we're going to have something here and drop it off somewhere else. So go to your inventory. You're looking for clearance papers, and there it is in the item hangar. A lot of people kind of leave thinking it's in their cargo bay, and this is not the same thing. So please go to your item hangar and kind of drag it in yourself to the cargo bay. And then we're going to go ahead and undock. Make sure you accept the mission. And then we're going to go and set the destination to where we have to drop it off. And once again, this is just practice of using the gates, okay? Alright, so as we're jumping to the next system of Rainin, I realized I wanted to talk to you guys about something. And this has to do with the autopilot. So I'm going to activate my autopilot right now. So a lot of you might, you know, in the beginning it's really cool to jump through systems, but after a while you might be tempted to use the autopilot function. And I don't like the autopilot function. It is it's a bad habit to have. It takes forever. So here's the difference. When you use autopilot, you can basically set it and forget it, right? So you're in high-sec space, so you're relatively low risk of being killed. And so why shouldn't you autopilot everywhere? And the main reason is for the sake of time and for the sake of just good basics. You know, you don't want to get used to autopiloting, because if you overuse it, you will die sooner or later, or rather sooner rather than later. And so as you can see here, because I'm using autopilot, the autopilot does not warp you to 0 on the gate. So you have to be, again, within 2,500 meters to really jump. So now that I have autopilot on, as you can see, it warps me about 15 to 16 kilometers off of the gate. Now I have to slowly, you know, wait for this boat to kind of get through there. So now I have to wait until we reach from 16 kilometers to 2,500 kilometers before I can jump. Now, if you think that this wait is worth it, by all means, you know, but I really, it's again bad practice to do this, to use autopilot. You know, during this time, for example, this is the time where people will kill you if they're on the gate here. You know, they'll see you kind of warping from far away, taking the easy way out, and you know, you basically present yourself as a huge target sometimes. You know, depends what ship you're in. I'm in a rookie ship, which is free, so nobody's really gonna harm me. But like I said, once you get into more expensive ships, you really don't want to be doing that autopilot thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that off. The hotkey is Control S, by the way. So I'm gonna turn it off so it doesn't do that for me. And then, you know, in comparison, when I warp there without autopilot, I will warp there at 0, and then I'm just gonna jump. So that's the main difference. So at this point, we have arrived at the target drop-off point, and this is kind of like a cooking show, isn't it? You know, I put the fries in the oven, and it comes out delicious. So now we're just gonna dock up in here, and then we're gonna hand in our quest. Aura's here one more time, and then we're gonna finish it off and get another 500 ISK. We are filthy rich. Alright, so at this point, we are completely done with our basic tutorial. So just to recap, you know, it was just a few missions. You know, all the missions basically revolve around you kind of getting used to moving around in EVE Online. You know, your play is not going to be as smooth as mine. And even I made a couple of mistakes while filming this. So, you know, don't be afraid to, you know, just experiment a little bit, and don't get frustrated that you don't have the WSD like you do in most games. This is a very valid way of moving around once you're used to it. Well, that took a lot longer than it should for an episode. There was a lot of information to get through in this first episode. Future episodes will have a lot more compact content and be within 20 minutes or shorter. Thanks for watching this far. If you like my video, please click like, and if you'd love to see more videos, hit up the subscribe button. And lastly, leave me a comment so I know if I'm doing this right. This is Kaylem signing off until next time.